Okay, morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Green. This is another in my lessons on Algebra 1. What we're looking at today is in Unit 2, and we're looking at the concept of an algebraic proof. Oh, ugh. You know what? Proofs are not fun, but mathematical reasoning involves making convincing arguments to prove something that's true. And that's what we're talking about. Is we want to make certain we're proving this. We're not just saying that we think it is, we prove it. And we're going to use this mathematical reason as our proof, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to create some uh, arguments that will help us do this. Now, you will have heard this your entire career with math. You're going to look at this and go, I've heard this before, okay? And the whole idea here is that proofs use these properties to prove relationships. Now we've had all these properties, okay? I've talked about the reflective, symmetric, and transitive property. You know what addition is. You know what subtraction is. Multiplication and division. Those are all things that you know what they are, okay? And I've already pointed out the substitution property and the distributive property. So there shouldn't be anything that goes here that you haven't heard of before. And we're going to put these relationships here, these properties together, and form what's called a deductive argument. You might have heard of deductive before. That's what Sherlock Holmes used. He used deductive reasoning. Okay? So we're going to use reflective, symmetric, transitive, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the distributive property. That's what this is down here. Okay? So we're going to use those tools every time we get. So here's an example of an algebraic proof. I've got this statement right here. Where did this statement come from? It might have been the problem, but I was given to solve. So this is what we're given right here. The first thing that they did was they multiplied this one by 2 on both sides. How did I know that? Well, I noticed the 7 went to 14. Okay? So they must have done multiplication. Multiplication property. That seemed relatively easy. And then I looked at this and I said, well, the 14 went to 9, so they had to subtract 5 from it. And look over here. This side, they subtracted 5 from it as well. So minus 5 and minus 5. That was either the addition property or the subtraction property. You could have used it either way. You're adding -5 or you're subtracting 5. It won't make any difference how you say that. It's the same type of information that's going on there. And then the 9 became a 3. Well, this they divided by 3 on both sides, didn't they? So that's where they wrote down the division property. This looks familiar. We've done this type of stuff, okay? All we're doing here is we're writing down on this side some reason as to why we're making these statements. This over here is show your work. Guess what? I know you've heard that from every other math teacher you've ever sat through, right? So if you show your work that you're doing, and then you can write down the reason why you're doing it. That's what makes an algebraic proof. That's what makes a proof. You show your work. You show each step that you take, and then you write down a reason to support why you made that step. Okay? So let's try one. Here, I've got this statement right here. Where did it come from? It had to be given. That's the only reason that that one would be there. Okay? So let's look at it. What changed from here to here? Well, the parentheses disappeared. So they must have taken the 2 times the 3 to give me 6x and 2 times the 4 to give me this 8. But what it was this minus 2 times 3 gave me minus 2 times 4 gave me the minus 8. So what are they doing there? They're doing the distributive property, DIST property. That was simple. Okay? That one seemed pretty easy, didn't it? And then let's look here. The 44, well, it's not in the next statement. The 44 and the 8 had to be combined together. So what we're doing there is we're combining like terms or simplifying. S-I-M, simple simplifying, or combining like terms. Okay? That's all that happened in that going from 2 to 3. Now, going from 3 to 4, let's see here. Well, the 36 disappeared, didn't it? They had to subtract 36 from both sides. So what did they do there? Well, it was either the addition property or the subtraction property. Either way you want to phrase that would be correct. So now going from 4 to 5, it looks like they divided by -6. So we're dividing by -6 here. And what did we wind up with? X equals 9. So that was the division property. Okay? That wasn't that difficult. The work was already done here. All I had to do was add the reasons. You can imagine in the multiple choice tests that you've seen so far, I could leave a reason out and ask you why we took that step. Or I might leave a statement out and give you the reason why they took that statement, and you have to look at the previous statement and say, well, what would be the result? And you'd have to pick it out of a list. Either one of those would be valid ways of phrasing questions that you might see in this situation. Okay? Seen this on the EOC test where that's exactly what they do at different times. Okay? So let me make this simple. If you work problems and show your work, and then tell me why you took the step, give me a reason why you took that step, then you are doing an algebraic proof. Okay? When I tell you to show your work, I really mean show your work. Every step that you take. Don't combine things together and say, oh, it's just all in there at one time. Don't do the work in your head. Do it on the paper. Show it to us so that we can see what's going on. That's why it's there, so that we can make certain we are proving things are done correctly. Okay? So that's what this is all about. I'm sure it's going to generate some questions for you guys, and you're going to look at some of the questions that are in the assignment. Make certain you're getting them done. If you have anything that you're having problems with, bring it to tutoring. Talk about it in Class Connect. We will get through it and make certain you understand it as best we can. Okay? I'll talk to you next time.